All right, everybody. Welcome to Hooligans. Welcome to Standing Room Only. Welcome to the show. Glad everybody
Yay.
can make it. I'm going to tell you just a little story about Boudreaux and Thibodeau. All right, this one's like, all right, let me just say it. So Boudreaux and Thibodeau were again deep into their favorite pastime, drinking beer. Uh-huh. So when they suddenly, both of them got the urge to go uh, release themselves, the call of nature. So they went into the men room together, and as Thibodeau walked up to the urinal, he looked in his hand,
In his
pulled
hand.
his hands out of his pocket, and accidentally dropped a quarter into the urinal. He looks at it, and Boudreaux looks at it, and Thibodeau reaches back into his pocket and takes out a silver dollar, and he throws it into the urinal. Now Boudreaux asks him, say, man, what the hell you done did that for? That was a good dollar. Thibodeau says, yo, Boudreaux, you don't think I'm going to put my hand down there for no quarter? Had to make it worth it, right? Shit, no, not for no quarter. Not for no quarter. All right. We're going to call this one. This is a story about Boudreaux who done went to the movies. Boudreaux done went to the movie for the first time a couple weeks ago. The usher, noticing that Boudreaux was sprawled out across the seats, taking up like 4 spaces. So they say, yo, Boudreaux, you're only allowed to have 1 seat. Now Boudreaux just moaned and groaned, looked at him, did not budge. So the usher said, sir, if you do not move, I'm going to have to get the manager on you. And Boudreaux groaned again, but he didn't move. So the usher done went back to the back of the theater, and he returned with the manager. And together they tried to get Boudreaux to sit up in 1 seat. Boudreaux just grunted and moaned, still didn't budge. The manager says, sir, if you do not move, I'm going to call the police. And Boudreaux moaned again and groaned again, but he didn't move. A few minutes later, the police show up, and the officer said, Boudreaux, you got to move. Boudreaux groans, but he still don't move. And the officer done asks him, where you from anyway, partner? Now Boudreaux leaned back and points up over his head and says, I'm from the balcony up here.
Oh my god. Oh.
All right, I ain't gonna waste all my Boudreaux. So who wants to come up here?
Braydon.
Mike?
I'll raise my hand.
Oh, Braydon will.
All right, come on, Braydon. Everybody, let's welcome Braydon to the stage.
Yay, Braydon Wee!
Hey, Braydon.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I see
Yo,
y'all
yo.
out there. Y'all looking good this evening. Oh shit, there's a stool there. Oops.
Thank
Oops. Okay. So I'm gonna tell a couple of one-liners this evening. But before I do that, I just want to say everybody in the crowd looks really great tonight. You guys are amazing. I really love the fact that y'all are still doing comedy in Second Life. To me, that's a great thing. So.
Glad you're back.
So, hold on, let me get my shit together here. And it's like, no, I'm gonna minimize on you. I'm like, no, don't do that. Okay, all right. The last thing I want to do is hurt you, but it's kind of still on the list. Just saying. This is so true today, by the way. We live in a society where pizza gets to your house before the police does.
That's true.
That's very true.
Men have 2 emotions: hungry and horny. If you see them without an erection, make them a sandwich. All right, so having sex is like playing bridge. If you don't have a good partner, I can't even read the shit. You'd better have a good band. I can't do it. Or whatever.
I know what you're saying.
All right, all right. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a garage makes you a car. So
Mm-hmm.
put that
Not
out
true
there
at
for all the
all.
Christians in the world. Church is chicken, is not church. Okay. Um, Children, you spend the first 2 years of their life teaching them to talk and walk. Then you spend the next 16 years telling them to sit down and shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so evening news is where they begin with good evening and then proceed to tell you why it's not a good evening.
Oh,
True.
yeah.
That's
I
good.
just saw it.
Mm-hmm.
um, if sex is a good thing, I'm sorry. If if sex is a pain in the ass, you're doing it wrong. That's all right. But a bus station is where a bus stops. A train station is where a train stops. On my desk, I have a workstation. So
That's where the work
Where
stops.
the work stops.
if you think nobody cares if you're alive, try missing a couple of bill payments. See how that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like slinkies, not really good for anything, but you can help. God damn it, dude! Somebody's this is old shit. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a little rough time here
Oh, that's
because
some
like
good
it's so
stuff.
funny to read. I can't even say it. Um, okay, some people are like slinkies, not really good for anything, but you can't help smiling when you see one tumble down the stairs.
I did a face plant last week, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I heard about it.
Mm.
You all right, aren't you? You good? Right?
Well, yeah, I'm getting there.
So did you know that dolphins are so smart that within a few weeks of captivity, they can train people to stand on the very edge of the pool and throw them fish?
Yep, yep.
I admire
You
them.
know, a computer once beat me at chess, but it was no match for me at kickboxing.
Your computer's dead now.
Yeah, pretty much. A bank is a place that will lend you money if you can prove that you don't need it. Think
That's
about that.
exactly the truth.
Yeah. Um, I don't fight my way to the top of the food chain to be a vegetarian. Okay, so
Yeah.
Me either.
I agree.
why does someone believe you when you say there are 4 billion stars, but check when you say the paint is wet?
True. The figure
You know,
fucking prints on my wall.
whenever I fill out a job application in the part that says if in an emergency notify, I put doctor. What's my mother gonna do? So,
Right.
yeah, they ain't gonna do that. The shin bone is a device for finding furniture in the dark room. So that's we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so behind every successful man and his is his woman. Behind the fall of a successful man is usually another woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true.
You know, you do not need a parachute to skydive. You only need a parachute to skydive twice.
Yep. So
I think I
true.
told that joke last week. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah, I think we covered that
Um,
last week, bro.
yeah.
Several
All right.
weeks ago, actually. So let's
It's okay.
That's
There's
so
new
funny.
people here.
That's right. They don't know.
Well, it's like, you know, I should have known it wasn't going to work out between my ex-wife and me. After all, I'm a Libra and she's a bitch. So, just putting it out there. With that, I will cede the stage to the next person. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you,
Yay,
Yay,
buddy!
And
All right, I'm gonna have a seat this time. Make myself comfortable.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because this next one is a little bit longer.
Okay.
Still about Thibodeau and Boudreaux. Thibodeau is the star. Now Thibodeau, I don't know if y'all know this, but Thibodeau is a farmer. He owns a farm down on the bayou where he grows, I don't know, bayou things, probably sugar cane. Well, on his
Frogs.
farm, he had an old mule that he used to pull the plow. It was good, hard-working mule. So he took real good care of that mule, even giving it a place to sleep in the barn, a special place.
Mhm.
The only problem was that every evening when he tried to put the mule into the barn, the mule's big old long ears would brush against the top of the barn, and that just drove the mule nuts, causing him to kick and bite. Did y'all know mules were mean, right? Mules are mean when they're
Yeah.
aggravated.
Oh yeah, they are.
So, in order to solve this
Yep.
problem, Thibodeau decided to cut a larger opening at the door. You know, the top part, make it a little taller. Well, as he was working on the door, his good friend Boudreaux happened by.
Oh,
He brought him a six pack, and they sitting back drinking beer. And all of a sudden, he says, Boudreaux said, "Why you, Thibodeau? Why you doing all this work when you could just make the floor a little deeper? You know, dig a little hole down there. Much easier." So Thibodeau done replied there, said, "Man, I done told you it was his ears that are too long, not his legs." Okay, we'll throw that one in the no bin.
No, that was a good one.
All right. Anybody else wants to come up here?
I think Wyvern does, doesn't he?
Y wants to come up here? Come on, Y.
Did she sneak out?
Why not? Why not?
Yo,
Yeah, sure.
okay, I had to go pee-wee, and I stood up to run to go pee-wee. All right, Nick, I'm gonna try to sit on that stool.
All right, let me
Did
get
you
out
take
the way.
care of business?
Let me get out the way.
I had to go
We can
pee-wee.
wait
I had to
and
go
take care of
pee-wee
business
before I
now.
even began because
Okay,
I have
well,
horrible
hope you took
jokes.
care of business.
Mine are really horrible, okay? I just want you to know these are all awful. So just prepare yourselves and don't groan a lot, okay? Just laugh instead. So this guy's sitting outside a bar enjoying a quiet drink, and a nun starts lecturing him on the evils of the alcohol that he's drinking. "How do you know alcohol's evil?" the man says. "Have you ever tasted it?" "Well, of course not," says the nun. "Well, then, okay, let me buy you a drink, and afterwards, if you still believe it's evil, I promise I'll never touch another drop." "Well, I can't possibly be seen drinking," says the nun. "Right," the man says. "Well, I'll get the bartender to put it in a teacup for you." So the man goes inside and he asks for a beer and a vodka, and he says, "Would you mind putting that vodka in a teacup?" "Oh, no," says the bartender. "It's not that bloody nun again, is it?" This drunk rolls into a bar, but the bartender refuses to serve him. "You've had too much to drink," he says. "I'm not serving you." Well, 5 freaking minutes later, the drunk comes in again, and the bartender stands firm. "Look, there's no way I'm serving you more alcohol. You've had more than enough already." Well, even 5 minutes later, the door's open, and the drunk lurches in once again, and the bartender says, "Look, I'm not serving you. You're too drunk." And the drunk nods and says, "Well, I guess I must be. This is the third place in a row that's refused to serve me." Two flies walk in a bar and order drinks and sit down for a little chat. And the first fly says, "How was your trip down here?" And the second fly says, "It was so cold. I rode in a biker's mustache. How was yours?" First fly says, "I was warm all the way. I rode in a biker chick's pussy. You ought to do it next year." So a year later, same two flies meet in the same bar, and the first fly says, "Did you travel down like I told you to?" And the second fly says, "Yeah, but somehow I still showed up in the biker's mustache."
Oh man.
Man walks in a bar with a dog, and he puts the dog on the bar and says, "This is the smartest dog in the world. I bet you $5 he can answer any question you ask him." And the bartender agrees, and he asks the dog, What is the cube root of 81? And the dog says 3 immediately. Freaking, that's amazing, says the bartender, handing over $5. Well, at this point, the dog owner has to go to the toilet, and he asks the barman to look after his dog for him, puts the $5 in the dog's collar. Well, while he's in the toilet, the barman says to the dog, hey, yo, if you're so smart, go down the road and get me a newspaper. So the dog leaves. When the man comes out of the toilet, he's going ballistic. Where's my freaking dog? He's like screaming and yelling. The barman calms the man down, tells him about the newspaper, and the man immediately leaves the bar to search for his dog. He eventually finds him in an alley screwing a poodle. What the hell are you doing? He says. You've never done this before. The dog says, I never had $5 before either.
Oh my gosh.
A bar's got this sign up that says, pianist wanted. So this guy walks in and he tells the owner he's a great pianist. And the owner says, well, play a couple songs, and if you're as good as you claim, the job will be yours. So the pianist sits down and plays a song that nearly puts the owner in tears. Oh my God, what a beautiful song. What is it called? The owner says. And the pianist says, it's called The Dog Shagging the Cat, My Wife's Doing My Brother. Well, how about playing one more tune then? So the man plays another tune, and this time the manager does break down totally in tears. He's bawling his eyes out. What do you call that song? He says, wiping his eyes. And the guy says, the elephant is taking a shit while the lion's licking his balls.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Well, the bar owner tells the pianist that he's got the job on one condition. He can't tell the customers the names of any of the songs he's playing. So the pianist starts playing that night, and after every song, he gets a standing freaking ovation. And after about 2 hours of solid playing, he announces he's going to have a little break, and he goes to the toilet to take a piss. Well, on his way out, a man passing says, hey, mate, you know your fly's undone, your cock's hanging out. And the guy says, the pianist says, of course I know that song, I wrote it. This guy's sitting at a bar feeling real sorry for himself because his wife just kicked him out. And a woman comes up and sits beside him and orders a drink, and she looks really depressed, just as down and out as he does. Is there something wrong? The guy asks her. My husband just left me. He said I was too kinky. The guy says, wow, what a coincidence. My wife just kicked me out as well because I was too kinky. And the woman has an idea. Well, why don't we go back to my place and get kinky together? Sounds perfect, the guy says. And when they get to her house, she tells him to make himself comfortable while she goes to change. So she goes to her room and takes off her clothes, puts on a leather G-string, a leather bra, black stockings, big black leather boots, and gets out her whip. And when she's ready, she goes out to the living room and finds the guy putting on his coat and boots. She's like, where are you going? I thought we were going to get kinky together. Well, the guy goes, well, I just screwed your dog and shit in your purse. How much kinkier can I get?
Shit in your purse.
Oh Lord, that's kinky.
Yay, wine!
Yay, wine.
Woo!
Hey, why?
Everybody, big hand for wine.
Money. Money love.
Alrighty. Alright, so before we bring on the next person, we're going to do a little story about Boudreaux.
Love Boudreaux.
This is about Boudreaux and his son, Lil Boudreaux. And I don't know what his name is, something Boudreaux. Now Boudreaux is 24 years old and he's still living at home. Now, Big Boudreaux and Marie are starting to worry about what he is going to do with his future. So Boudreaux tells Marie, Shell, let's do a little test. We're going to put a $10 bill, a Bible, and a bottle of booze on the table. And when Lil Boudreaux come in tonight, we're gonna be able to figure out what he gonna do for the rest of his life. If he take the $10 bill, he gonna be a businessman. If he takes the Bible, he gonna be a man of the cloth. Now, if he picks up the booze, I'm afraid he just gonna be a bum like the rest of us. So we put the stuff out and hid in the closet when they heard T coming. Now, Lil Boudreaux walks by the table, picks up the $10 bill, looks at it, and puts it in his pocket. Then he picks up the Bible, flip through it, and he put it under his arm. Then he pick up the bottle of booze, take a big old healthy swig out of it, and walks off with the rest of the bottle to the other room. Now, Boudreaux and Marie were watching all of this through the keyhole from the closet. Boudreaux sighs. Man, Chef, it looked like our son gonna be a goddamn politician. All right, and with that, I believe Gleesa wants to come up here and tell us a little story or a little joke.
Ooh, Gleesa.
So everybody, a big hand for Gleesa. Yay,
Yes,
Gleesa.
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna
Hey,
be,
we
it's
should-
kind of a quick
Hi.
little story because most of you know we had quite the storm this weekend and high winds, hurricane winds, and it was crazy because the snow was snowing up. The wind was so fierce that as it was coming down, it was being sent up. So we had our ups and downs most that day with that snow. But
Ups and downs.
as we're in the house, Fiddler is hearing a ticking, and we're very conscious of when it snows to make sure our electricity and our air vents, we're not getting carbon monoxide, we're not having any blocked things in the house. And he goes, "Do you hear that?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, "Tick," and it's going tick, 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 tick. And I found if you want to find out where it's coming from, you need to go in the bathroom and put your ear against the window. So the ticking was coming from outside. It was coming from outside, 2 houses down, in the middle of a blizzard snowstorm. Now, most of the time you wait till it's over before you clean up because it's ridiculous to even start while it's still coming down. The guy 2 houses down is using a leaf blower to move the snow out of his driveway. Seriously. So he's using a leaf blower, and as quickly as he's blowing the snow off his driveway, the wind is blowing it back in. So Fiddler goes, "This is a neighborhood of morons." And I go, "We live in this neighborhood." He goes, "But they were here before us." And I go, "But half of them moved out." He went, "New ones moved in." So this is, I mean, to put it in perspective, the neighbor lady is out there talking to her cat. I mean, she is having a full-blown conversation with the cat, as if the cat could understand. And I'm outside watching this, so I went inside and I told the dog, and we just laughed.
You and the dog laughed.
Okay. So that, I think, is all I have. It's a real quick little joke.
Ah, that was a good one. Thank you.
Ooh,
Hey,
That was
Gleesa.
awesome.
Fiddlah, Fiddlah.
All right, all
Oh,
right.
he doesn't have
So-
I'll get up and tell a couple.
You will?
Just a
Oh,
couple.
look for you.
Okay, well, see, I didn't even have to ask for open mic. Everybody, let's welcome Fiddler to the stage.
Yay.
On up, Fiddler.
Ooh.
Oh God, where my voice?
I'm still in your seat too. Yay.
Damn it! I've been talking this whole time and nobody's heard me.
No, you
Aw.
had that mic off. We should have warned you. You should know. You don't hear why.
Yeah, I was screaming and yelling, "Yay!" and all that
Oh.
shit. Oh, well.
Look at that dragon on his shoulder.
Everyone looks really cool tonight, and people just love Seamus. That's Seamus.
Well,
my,
don't keep clicking that thing
my
or we won't
buddy.
hear him.
Okay. Well, I only have a couple to tell you tonight. I don't know if you've heard this before. You probably have. The new people definitely haven't. So this is a couple of jokes that I know. Did you hear about the blind prostitute?
Mm-mm.
Gotta hand it to her. This this bear walks into a bar and he sits down and he says, "Bartender, give me a nice cold beer." And the bartender says, "I'm sorry, but we don't serve bears here." He said, "Listen, see that woman sitting down the end of the bar? If you don't give me a nice cold beer, I'm going to go down there, rip her apart, chew her all up, and eat her right in front of you." The bartender said, "I'm sorry, we do not serve beers here. Bears here."
Bears beer?
Right, bears. And so the bear got up out of his stool and went down there. And lo and behold, it was Nancy Pelosi. And
No. Wait.
yeah. And he ripped her apart, chewed her limb from limb. Even the hair and the bones gone. Then he threw up. But anyways,
Buy that bear a beer.
yeah. So
You added the throw up.
the bear looks at the bartender and says, "Are you satisfied? Now give me a cold beer here." He says, bartender says, "Well, I'm sorry, we don't serve bears on drugs." The bear says, "On drugs?" He goes, "Well, yeah, that was a barbiturate."
Barbiturate.
Okay. I got
Barbitch.
one more. And this happened back in the 90s, early 2000s. It definitely wouldn't be today, but I think you'll understand why. At this train stop, there was a local saloon right there at the train stop in the Midwest. And out in God's country, and there was a layover for this man that got off a bus and was going to take a train at this train stop. And he stopped in the saloon and he asked the bartender for a drink. He goes, "I would like a lime spritzer, please." And the bartender says, "Sir, mister, we don't take to your kind, and we'd appreciate it if you'd leave." And so obviously the gay man says, "Well, sir, I just want a lime spritzer. I promise I won't bother any of your customers. I'll even sit way back there in the corner where there's no one." And the bartender thinks for a second and he says, "Okay, I'll serve you a lime spritzer, and you got to promise you'll go back there where you pointed and sit in the corner and don't talk to anybody." And so the gay guy says, "Beautiful, I'll do that." And he gets his lime spritzer and he goes over in the corner and he sits down and he's nice and quiet drinking his lime spritzer. And then all of a sudden these three cowboys walk in, these big buffy guys, right? And the guy says, "Give me a beer, bartender. I'm as thirsty as a damn fucking bull." And all of a sudden, out of the corner, you hear, "Moo, moo." Well, that's about it for me tonight.
All right, yay, Fiddlah.
Hey, Fiddlah.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed them.
Oh,
Good. We always do. All right. Big hand for Fiddlah. All right, I got one here.
Yay me.
This one's about they got this a law firm down in Bayou Country, and of course it's run by the Boudreaux. And just for your information, there's always more than one Boudreaux. There's a lot of Boudreaux. And this particular law firm is called Boudreaux, 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 and Boudreaux. Okay? Now, all right. A man calls the law offices of Boudreaux, 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 and Boudreaux. When the phone is answered, he asks to speak to Mr. Boudreaux. He is told Mr. Boudreaux is out playing golf, so he asks to speak to Mr. Boudreaux. Then he told Mr. Boudreaux is out of town for business, might be back next week. He then asks, well, let me speak to Mr. Boudreaux then. The voice tells him, I am sorry, Mr. Boudreaux done retired. He no longer work here. Totally frustrated, the man tried one more time. Let me speak to Mr. Boudreaux. The voice says, oh, sure. Hold on. This is Mr. Boudreaux. How can I help you?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, a
There
little
you
better.
go.
Good.
I didn't screw it up.
Boudreaux, 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 and Boudreaux. Okay.
The Boudreaux. Yeah.
Themselves a poor Boudreaux or something.
All right. Who wants to come up here and slap a few comedy laughs around?
I'll do a
Any-
couple more.
You want to do a couple more?
Yeah, I will.
All right. Come do a couple more, and then
All right,
I'll
buddy.
save.
I'll do a couple more. What the hell? You like dirty jokes, boys and girls. You obviously love them. They were all dirty. They were horrible.
Great.
This confident guy walks in a bar, takes a seat next to a really attractive woman, gives her a quick glance, and looks at his watch. The woman notices and goes, is your date running late? Nope. Just bought this state-of-the-art watch and I was testing it. Oh, a state-of-the-art watch. What's so special about it? Well, it uses alpha waves to telepathically talk to me. What's it telling you now? Well, he says, it says you're not wearing panties. The woman giggles and goes, oh, it must be broken then, 'cause I'm wearing panties. And the man says, damn thing must be an hour fast, God damn it. That was Fiddler's joke, yes. It was his joke. So the struggling bar owner decides he needs a gimmick to bring more people to his bar. So after racking his brains, he comes up with the idea of having this competition to find the toughest guy in town. He puts posters all around town, advertises them in the local paper and all that, and on the appointed day, his bar is packed. The first contestant is a huge man holding a snapping turtle. The man jumps on the bar, unzips his pants, whips out his large penis, and then he picks up the snapping turtle, holds it right in front of his dick, and with unbelieving eyes, the onlookers gasp as that turtle bites on the man's penis.
Ouch.
The big man lets go of the turtle, starts swaying his body, and the turtles bounce him from side to side off his hips. After about 30 seconds of this, the man pokes the turtle in the eyes, and the turtle drops down to the floor. Now, shouts the big guy, is there any other son of a bitch in here that thinks he's tough enough to do that? And this guy from the back of the bar goes, I'll do it if you promise not to poke me in the eyes.
Oh, my God.
This really
Oh, my
huge, muscular guy walks in a bar and orders a beer. Well, the bartender hands him the beer and says, you know, I'm not gay, but I want to compliment you on the physique that you have. It's wonderful. It really is phenomenal. I have a question, though. Why is your head so small? And the big guy nods slowly, and he's fielded this question a lot, obviously. And he says, well, one day I was hunting. And when I got lost in the woods, I heard somebody crying for help, and I finally realized that it was coming from a frog in a stream. So I picked up the frog and I said, the frog was talking to me. It said, kiss me, and I'll turn into a genie and grant you 3 wishes. So I looked around and I wanted to make sure I was alone, and I gave that frog a kiss. Well, suddenly the frog turned into a beautiful, voluptuous, naked woman, and she said, now you have the 3 wishes. So I looked down at my scrawny body and I said, well, I'd like a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And she nodded, whispered a spell. Abracadabra, there I was, huge. So huge I burst out of my clothes and was standing there naked. And then she said, and what's your second wish? And I looked hungrily at her beautiful, gorgeous body. And I said, well, I'd love to make sensuous love with you here by the stream. She nodded, she lay down, she beckoned me, and we made love for hours. And later, as we lay there next to each other, sweating from our glorious lovemaking, she whispered in my ear, "You know, you do have one more wish. What will it be?" And I said, "Well, how about a little head?"
Oh man.
This drunk gets up from the bar. He heads for the bathroom. A few minutes later, this loud, blood-curdling scream is heard coming from the bathroom, and a few minutes later, another loud scream reverberates through the bar, and the bartender goes to the bathroom to investigate why this drunk is screaming in there. "What the hell's all this screaming about in there? You're scaring all the customers." The guy says, "I'm just sitting here on the toilet, and every time I flush, something comes up and squeezes the hell out of my balls." And the bartender opens the door, looks in, and goes, "You fucking idiot, you're sitting on the mop bucket."
Oh,
Oh man.
And my last one here. A businessman enters a tavern, sits at a bar, orders a double martini on the rocks. After he finishes his drink, he peeks inside his shirt pocket and orders another double. After he finishes that one, he again peeks inside his shirt and he orders a double martini again. Bartender says, "Look, buddy, I'll bring you all your martinis all night long, but you got to tell me why you keep looking in your shirt pocket every time you order a refill." And the customer says, "I'm peeking at a photo of my wife, and when she starts to look good, I know it's time to go home." All right, that's my for the night, boys.
All right, why?
Thank you, why?
Good.
All right, guys. I am all out of jokes. I got nothing left to do tonight. If anybody else has anything they want to come up here, it's open mic.
There's
Stage
gotta
is
be
yours.
someone.
If not, we're gonna call it an early night and consider for next week.
Oh, why? Good night. Good night,
Okay, yeah, we
boys.
did pretty good. We did good. We only
Thanks for
10 minutes early.
everyone.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hope y'all
It
had a
was
great
good- it
time.
was
Hope
a
you had
good
laughs.
night.
I know I did.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a great night.